I think this is our first one-on-one, huh?
in a long time.
Because I don't remember the first, like the last time we did a
I
one.
feel like we did one because I remember once
think we
us
did one on
saying
live.
that. Sorry,
We did one on a live.
I think it was alive. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we did one face to face.
that's kind of wild, man. I felt like we did only because I remember once you having one with Sedalia, and then I remember me saying it's my turn finally or something like that. But I could be wrong. Maybe we never did. Anyways, it wouldn't exist anymore. Anyways, you might have wiped it from the.
No, those I didn't wipe.
Oh, okay.
I wiped the solos. I wiped anyway, whatever. So it's funny. 5 years in.
5 years in, it's true.
5 years. Well, the month that just passed.
Yeah.
Closed the 5 years.
Celebration.
It's been 5 years we've been doing this.
Shit. You still love this shit?
I have my moments.
I know, right? It's like
I
a
have
love
my
hate thing.
moments. I've been contemplating what's next.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I spoke about it. I think with Guy on the other pod,
Okay.
and I had a lot of backlash. They're like, "You better not motherfucking stop."
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know about all that, but I'm just trying to see,
What's the next evolution?
how I can elevate this
Yeah.
to something even more. Like, yeah, the quality of the image could go, but the subjects I feel like we've been,
Rehashing a lot.
yeah, like except when we talk about what's going on directly on the news.
Yeah. But even that sometimes the news cycle itself, it's almost pretty much rehashed, right? Excepting, some things aren't mentioned, some things are mentioned. You know what I mean?
So, what are your thoughts about the whole thing?
What?
About how the podcast evolved and where we're at, and what do you see for the future?
Well, to be completely honest, I think I spoke to you about it in terms of how I feel like I miss certain aspects of how the pod used to be with the whole, I love the for the people by the people vibe, right? And part of that was us bringing in people from different facets, different walks of life, and getting to know their journeys and getting to know their stories. Like I miss the getting to know stories and journeys of people and motivations, goals, dreams. You know what I mean?
You feel we don't have that anymore?
I feel like we don't have that anymore. I feel it's, and once again, this other version is still a good version because it gets us, kind of like pumped too, right? Because I feel like the version that we have right now is a bit more pop culture. You know what I mean? Like I think we transitioned more into like a what's happening in the moment thing, which is not a bad thing, right? Because given the state of the world, like it was kind of a reflection of where the world was going. You know what I mean? We moved from, that one-on-one type aspect in terms of the concentrating on the, the individual to looking at the mass, facing the masses at this point, right? But I feel like sometimes you get lost in the shuffle like that.
Even when we had guests, let's just say the last guest we had on this was with Stephen.
Yes, that was a good one.
Lionheart,
That was a good one,
right?
Yeah.
Like, so you're reminiscing on those type of pods.
Those type of pods, but even that, like I feel like I miss the psychology of the pod in terms of like the breaking down the person, the essence, the motivations, and like that piece, But at the same time, once again, just to kind of be devil's advocate against myself, I like the shits, but I feel like we've been getting into more of the shits lately. And, I don't want to lose the essence of what kind of made us get into this in the first place. You know what I mean? I feel like we probably reach a point where fucking clicks, likes, you know what I mean? Participation, algorithm, all that shit.
Do you actually think we pay attention to that?
I feel like it became a thing for a little while. You know what I mean?
How so?
Well, meaning just in general, like getting caught up in certain hypes. You know what I mean? Like, the discussion.
You can name names. It's not like we're hiding anything here.
No. I'm
or episodes or
no.
subjects.
My brain. I'm trying to catalog some of the discussions. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I do. I like the political stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's that those stuff are fun. But I think for me, it was more like when we were getting into like conversations about, whether it's like flat Earth stuff or this or that or whatever, like losing the essence in terms of like, okay, what are we really getting into at this point, right? Like what are we representing? Are we representing ourselves? Are we losing ourselves? Like in terms of, well, maybe it wasn't like us, but like seeing certain debates, certain type of arguments, like I was kind of like, oh shoot, this is not the intended goal, right? We like to discuss, we like to we like to challenge, but seeing people kind of go at each other there was a little period where, there was a lot of back and forth for certain things. And
so you're talking
whatever.
off podcast here, like the repercussions
of, yes, exactly.
of an episode.
Of an episode.
But that sadly, I feel like whatever we would be talking about, there will be repercussions.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah. Again, it's how now, not because I was trying to think about when you were talking about the likes and the clicks.
Yeah.
Like it's the only reason I notice them is when they really happen and when there's a wave. Right?
And yeah, exactly.
But
I never look for that stuff. I don't really care much.
No, I don't. Again, I don't think anybody on the pod, like the main co-host,
The core, yeah,
cares about that shit. What surprised me, and I told you this a couple of weeks back, right after the whole flat Earth thing with what's her name,
yeah,
was I just found it sad, or I was disappointed, let's just say, where the more popular, the one that actually got a lot of comments and trending and stuff, was the stupid ones.
Yeah, or the salacious, as they would say, type of.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll remain with the word stupid, and it's okay. And then I was like, shit, too bad. Now, like you see, for example, today, the last two videos I posted with Guy, Sedalia, and I, when we talk about relationships.
Yeah.
I don't know, for whatever reason, it got a lot of traction this morning.
Oh, that's the thing that works with us, I think, when we speak genuinely, when we speak plainly. And I don't think we're not disingenuous. Like, don't get me wrong, but pertaining to certain conversations, like it's just, I feel like it just doesn't work for us. You know what I mean? Like we don't get to really express ourselves the way that we want to express ourselves wholeheartedly and fully.
Yeah, that's one thing maybe I feel like changed a bit.
Yeah.
Recently. I think it goes directly in correlation with the fact that we're filming now.
You think so?
Yeah. Because I feel like before we would be raw and uncut, and we still raw, don't get me wrong.
I think so.
But we pay a little bit more attention because our face is associated to everything.
Okay, and that's understandable. I get that.
Yeah, but I don't remember where I cared. I found myself caring.
Yeah.
Like, go. Because the question I asked myself more often than none was, is my purpose to be honest and raw?
Yeah.
Or try to communicate my point? Because sometimes both can. You can't do both.
They can't coexist at the same time.
Because once you call somebody an idiot,
but is one more valuable than the other?
But who gives it value? It's or you or the listener or whoever.
Well said. Yeah.
Right. So because of that, I'm trying to not offend for people to be able to listen and not just hear.
Yeah, I get that.
And then I get,
but sometimes you don't. You have your moments. Like
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Like again, but people that know me, people that listen to the pod, now guests maybe they don't, but people that listen to the pod, people that know us, know what we're about.
Absolutely.
Right now, people on their keyboards, they go through the comment section and they just go at it and insult each other and everything like that. Yeah. But that's the jungle out there.
True, we can't really control that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, some people do accuse us of not having their back on the comment section.
Yeah.
But it's not my duty.
No, we can't represent that piece, right? Like that's.
I just put the videos out, and then whatever happens happens.
Let the magic happen.
Now, some people could come and accuse me of putting the videos in a way to make it more hype, let's just say. But I would never put a video trying to make the person look stupid. If somebody looks stupid in the video, it's usually the co-host that I do. Like when we're confused or we do a face and stuff like that. True. Because It's a
We can
regular.
handle it.
Yeah, no, but because we know the inside jokes,
Yeah.
right? Everybody knows my pet peeves on the pod. Like
Yeah.
they know you when you do certain voices and everything like that, and your little punchlines. You're known for that.
Yeah.
Sedalia, another video tomorrow, you're gonna hear her where she has that accent that flips
Oh, okay.
and stuff like that. And Guy is the famous laugh.
Yeah.
Now Kiki is the interrogation points because everybody's like, "What is she thinking about? What are the what's the questioning about?" But I'm just, now 5 years, more than 400 episodes, and I'm like, we spoke to about pretty much everything.
We did.
And it took me a good 2 years before I started talking about religion, for example. I was avoiding that subject majorly. Now I'm like, it's so everywhere. It would be idiotic for me to avoid it.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't feel like there's a subject we can't talk about.
That's not taboo. Nah, that's true. I think we covered a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm like, even the Palestine-Israel thing,
Yeah.
Homosexuality or homo curious. We had some people here, go at it, the whole, swinger thing. Then we got into the conservative thing. I believe we can talk. It's like comedy. We can talk about everything as long as it's well put. I'm not bringing people here. I've never brought somebody here to trap them
No.
in any way or form.
No.
Never,
Why would you do that?
There is sometimes that I invite people because I want to have a conversation with them. That is true. But not to trap them or make them look stupid or whatever. They do that on their own. No, because I kept on telling a friend of mine this week, I'm like, a lot of these TikTok people or these social media people, when they talk on their phone,
Yeah.
it's easy. You
Yeah,
can
there's no
start,
rebuttal.
Finish. Yeah, right? But then once there is a question, somebody asks you a question or writes a comment. I was reading a comment section of this known influencer, and she was only responding to the positive comments.
Yeah, that's what people do.
And I'm like, how does this work?
Yeah.
You pick and choose what you comment to.
Yes.
And
But that's a reflection of everyday society, man. A reflection of life. Well, not when I say everyday society, I mean like in that realm of the world, that's how they all operate. You know what I mean? Like I'm only gonna give the attention to the ones that are inflating my ego. You know what I mean? Or who are agreeing with what I have to say. Gone are the days where you can have like civil discourse or hey, not even agree or disagree, but allow me to share my opinion. Or why are you saying this? You know what I mean? Like if someone's saying something against your thought process, what's wrong with them voicing that? Like I think that's my biggest pet peeve, like these days in general, where people are you're silenced. You're not allowed to share an opinion or an opposite frame of mind, right? Or an opposite thought process. Those ways of thinking in some cases, help push the world forward. Being able to challenge, sometimes challenge our belief systems, challenge our even like what you forget, like even like a belief system when it comes to, I'm talking about religion. I'm just talking about like overall, belief. But nowadays it's like they try to neuter your thoughts, you know what I mean? And if you're not of the same type of hive mind or whatever it is that you want, then all of a sudden, you're of no use, right? I don't want to hear what you have to say. You block me out, you drown me out. But it doesn't mean that whatever that person wanted to share, didn't have any value. It's just that you're too self-centered to be able to look outside, of you, So I don't know, it's a fucked up world that we live in. And we give a lot of people, and I'm not talking about we, but I'm talking about we as a people, we give a lot of people platforms for them to spew a lot of nonsense without accountability.
But who's responsible for that, though?
Fuck. Me, you,
So
everybody
it's us.
that clicks on their page, everyone that like gives them some type of,
Attention.
Unfortunately, like case in point, Kanye West, right? And I know he comes back every so often, every couple of months. He went on that his recent tirades where he made like t-shirts, swastika t-shirts, you know, like using like, you know, dropping F-bombs, like, you know, stuff like that, like, you know, the gay one, right? The derogatory one. Calling, you know, Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids, you know, the like retarded and stuff like that. And people watch, people listen, you know, it's in the news outlets instead of like, you know, being like, okay, maybe we shouldn't click on this stuff because it's obviously a ploy. And I said it, he's up to something. And guess what? 2 days ago, he had that album that came out, Bully. You know what I mean? So it's like, but we still, by the way, I ain't gonna lie, man. I heard like I was listening to it.
I didn't listen to it yet.
I was listening to it through Vivo. Because it was I was on YouTube and then I saw it playing. And it actually sounded decent. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, okay. It kind of gives me a little bit of 808s, Heartbreaks type of vibe, which is, you know, one of my favorite albums of his. But my problem now is I can't stand the human being that he is. Like I literally cannot stand him. Like, but the artist now. So I'm the problem. I'm a problem.
Yeah, but Kanye for me is literally Maximus in Gladiator. When he comes out and he's like, he kills them and he's like, aren't you entertained?
Yeah.
Isn't this why you came out for?
Yeah.
So him coming out with an album called Bully. When he was trying to bully people.
He literally was bullying people.
Yes. I think it was part of the whole gimmick.
Of course, but that's what my problem is. Like, you know, we get caught up in the negative aspect of things. Before, you didn't have to do all that type of shit to put out a good album or to put out an album.
What did you have to do way back when?
Remember promos? Going to radio shows?
Yeah, because there was 3 albums coming out a year.
Yeah.
Now there's 20 million. How do you actually...
Well, it's not like he comes out with many albums a year. He comes out with like one album
he comes out. Yeah. But meaning that there's three...
I mean, other albums, other artists and stuff?
Every Friday, way back when I remember the cassettes and the CDs and the whenever, there was like maximum of 2 or 3. They would avoid each other. Artists would come out.
Unless you were 50 Cent and he was going up against Kanye.
But that's the new modern era, right?
They started that shit.
Yeah. If you go back to the tapes, when a big artist would come out on this date, you would give him about a month leeway because you know everybody's going to be buying the album.
Yeah, for sure.
And your album might be drowned in the noise. So now imagine that every Friday, you go on your Spotify, it's not even albums anymore. It's tracks. And Spotify gives you the type of music you listen to and creates a random playlist
or whatever. Yeah.
How do you want an artist now?
Yeah, but he's not a normal artist. I could understand that from
because he doesn't do hits anymore. That's the problem.
He does not.
That's what I'm saying. And I think he does it purposely. Neither he's doing concept.
He is.
So he's not going for a single that's going to be playing in the clubs.
But my point though is when you said, and I could understand that for other artists, but for someone as big as him, someone as big as Bad Bunny or big as these guys don't need rollouts. You know what I'm saying? They don't need rollouts. It doesn't. It's not required.
But Bad Bunny is a very particular artist. He comes out with 3 albums a year?
Yeah, I feel like it.
Yeah,
but his shit is
always
fire,
featuring everywhere. Yeah, amazing artist. Like he reminds
me.
The
Weeknd. How often does The Weeknd come out?
Every 3 years, give or take.
Does The Weeknd need any does he need to make like that type of noise like a Kanye or do all this other crazy stuff?
No, but
he did. I remember he did do it once with the whole facial prosthetics, but I think that was part of the whole
theme of even the one the rock star whatever it was with the neon cross and everything.
Yes.
Like concept albums, even Jay-Z did it with his whole
Black Album?
Not Black Album. The albums are right after. The one when he was in the museum and he did a live performance.
Yes. What's that one called again?
I forgot.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. I remember the cover too. I just can't remember
I just forgot the title. So I feel like artists is like movies now.
Yep.
Or using or TV shows or they're using gimmicks, I guess.
Yes.
They're trying to
like people.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah. We're gimmicks.
But that's the only way because everything is about trending.
Yeah.
And for you to trend, you need to do something completely out of the box. Like everybody's doing so much thing out of the box, there's no more box.
There literally is zero box.
There's no more box. It's like just how original can you be? But it's not even for the quality. It's just for the to bring eyeballs
Yeah.
or ears to whatever project you're doing.
Yeah, I know.
And the podcast world is pretty much the same thing.
It is.
Now people are winning awards that they're inventing themselves, literally. And there was another one last week. Huh?
There's another one?
Yeah, last week.
How many that we don't get any invites to?
I don't think we'll never get in. Maybe
never get
soon now that we're a black podcast.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't neither.
I don't
but
know what a black podcast is.
Did you hear the comment? You read it, not the one the guy
which-
wrote it?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, you answered that one fairly.
yeah.
And to put into context, like, there was a specific video clip where a gentleman wrote that I don't understand why every black podcast in Montreal always has to talk about sexuality. And one, we're not a black podcast. You know what I mean? Like, you're okay. We got a few black co-hosts out here. You know what I mean?
You
And,
guys are a majority now.
Relax.
But you are.
Yeah, I guess so.
You are. You guys are 3.
True. But, one, he took one snippet where he decided to make a comment based off of. So, one, we're not a black podcast. 2, we don't just talk about sexuality. We covered a plethora of, a variety of conversations and subjects. So, but you politely, checked him, I would say, and-
No, he even said sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like I said, some people have tendency of throwing a stone and then like, oops, my bad. Like, I didn't want to do that type of thing. But even in the podcast sphere right now, a lot of people are disappearing slowly but surely.
Yeah,
And a lot of new people are reappearing. Like there's new people.
Yeah.
So there's always, let's just say about...
Like a revolving door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Rare are the ones that maintain.
That's true.
Now, most, to say the totality except us, they do it for the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. To gain,
Yeah.
to promote a service, to gain, obviously like customer. Well, yeah. Because all those, you always saw it. Those guys had sponsors and all that stuff like that.
No, but they
Yeah,
they did it because they want to make money. They want to be seen in that sphere, right? Now, everybody that knows us know that we literally do it for the convo and the discussion and to be a safe place to have an exchange.
Absolutely.
Even though some people don't believe so. But again, none of my concern. But from now saying all this and knowing what we know, how do you see the pod evolving? What's the next evolution?
I think sometimes I can't even. It can sound stupid. I say to evolve. I think sometimes you got to take a step back and you got to strip things back down to its essence. You know
What does
I
that
mean?
look like?
Its core. I think. Well, one. Sometimes I do like. Well, you have a lot of different versions of the pod, or like because that's going on at the same time, right? So it's easier for you to talk about same subjects over and over again sometimes because of the fact that you could cover it on one version with whether it's Guy and Kiki, then another version with myself, Sedalia, or myself with Guy and
Yeah, everybody's
like everybody is, right? So
this is the Marvel universe.
it really is. It's
There's
really
crossovers.
the Avengers, and all that shit.
Mhm.
When I say like stripping it back down to its core, is probably seeing, you might have to start recording less or putting out less output in that sense, right? Maybe merge more, like basically like have all your voices together in one platform as opposed to, having two separate.
Shit, I was doing the opposite reflection.
Sorry?
I was doing the opposite reflection.
What were
I
you
was
thinking?
going to strip it down. Less people at the same time.
Well, oh,
For
really?
easier
What would be your
conversation.
number? Well, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but what I was thinking two different ways. One, I was thinking from your perspective in terms of the output that you have like a lot going on at the same time.
Mhm.
So I was thinking about, maybe it's easier if we're all together. You know what I mean? As opposed
Yeah,
to you
from
recording,
organization point of view, definitely.
I was thinking that, and also from the to be able to carry different perspectives, all at once, because we're all different people. I'll say that right
Facts.
now, and I like sometimes to be able to, have and challenge multiple different, voices and thoughts. It's hard. It's harder to control, but it's still. I think that's probably the adrenaline rush that I like at times, right?
The
Chaos.
chaos. Yeah.
Exactly. I love that shit. But in doing so, how do you bring in, and like the only problem is bringing in a guest, right? Like, how do you bring in a guest with 4 very strong-willed individuals, and have that focus on that person? Is that something that we do? Is that something that we kind of alternate? Maybe we have episodes where it's like, okay, kind of like a topic of the day, free for all, which is us, and then we have those episodes when it's just a guest, and we, kind of make it into that interview format, that stripped down format where we're focusing on a person. Because I like, when we have, I do enjoy when we have guests, and I do like the questions from everyone that they usually have,
Mhm.
But I don't know. I do foresee, I do think good things are gonna come if we, just stick to who we are. Like you know what I mean? Stick to who we are, stick to our values, stick to the core principle of what the pod is about, for the people, by the people,
Yeah, I just feel like the pod lost a little bit its identity.
It did.
Its wit
It did.
because we overstretched.
Yeah.
I feel like from the beginning it was clear for me that I don't want to be in a niche that I knew for a fact.
Yeah.
But then I feel like we're all over the place.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because we don't care about views, ratings, feedback, whatever, it never really bothered me. Still doesn't, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like now it's because, can we agree that everybody has different qualities
Absolutely.
that they bring to the pod?
Yeah.
And some people, not to say all, but some people are not good in all subjects.
Absolutely.
So now it's like managing a team.
It is.
Right? It's building
Well,
your
you're
team.
like the GM.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But sometimes it's not that obvious.
You think so?
Yeah, because I can give you an example that the recent conversation where Kiki told me she's not really up to date in politics.
Okay.
She doesn't really care about
Good
politics.
point. Yeah. Okay.
Guy's very into politics.
Very much.
So what happens is sometimes we bring up a subject, whatever, politically speaking, and Kiki just goes super silent.
Yeah.
We can say the same thing about Sedalia on certain OZ subjects.
Activities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like when I was editing the last podcast we did, and you were very
Yes, I was passionate. I know
passionate.
That. I'm not gonna
That's a
lie.
good word. That's a good
I'm
word.
not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't. I knew it. I knew when I was doing it. I knew I could have scaled back. I chose not to.
Why? I wonder why. Knowing her, because if it would have been a guest, I would have said something. But because it's Sedalia, and I know you know Sedalia,
Because she's like my sister, and at the same time, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt in terms of how she was expressing herself, but it sounded like she was being condemning,
judgmental.
And I think sometimes it's okay for us to kind of like give someone a reality check, at that point in time. I mean, I didn't swear, I didn't know, but I knew. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I knew. I even contemplated apologizing afterwards, but then I told myself, I don't think I did anything wrong.
No, you didn't do anything wrong.
I know she didn't. I hope that she didn't. Take it in that way.
What was interesting because when I was editing, doing whatever,
Yeah.
I fell on that part because I was doing the clips, right? I had to find the clips and everything, and I found it interesting the dynamic where, if I would use layman terms, she was very vanilla at that moment.
Yeah.
And you were being very kinky-esque.
Yeah.
Okay. Her finding kinky out of taste, let's just say, is still her opinion.
It's her opinion,
life.
and that's fine.
And you feeling, I'm not going to say judged, but because you took it a bit personal.
I didn't. I'll be honest.
But it felt that way.
That's
what I
I'm
meant.
going to be honest with you. I didn't take it personal at all. It was more from a perspective of be careful in terms of what you say, because what you're saying is something along the lines like we're talking about if someone because me, I know myself. You know, she knows me. Like, you know me. Like, even if I'm someone who's like, from a little bit more of a kinkier mindset, whatever,
yeah.
does that mean that I'm going to be a criminal? You know what I mean? It was that label that she was
Oh,
doing, and it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
for
yeah.
me. It was more thinking about like, whoa, be careful, because you have people who are vanilla as fuck or seem vanilla as fuck, but they can also be serial killers. You know what I mean? They can be
Oh, yeah.
abused. They can abuse people. So it was from that mindset, like, whoa, hold on. Don't think because someone is quiet or someone goes to church or someone does this that, all of a sudden it's okay. They're gonna be okay, and they're less inclined to cross certain boundaries. But just because some people may like to, do it from a swing, may like to have a fucking whip or whatever, that these people are gonna be equated to, like, I don't like, could be easier, that they would be more likely to be offenders, criminals, and stuff like that. Like, let's not do that. That was where it was coming from. For me, like, I didn't take it personal. The only thing I just wanted was for her to look at what she was saying and how she was saying it. Like,
Do you think she did that at the end?
I think, in a sense, when we kind of, I think we sort of maybe pounded it. I think it was more real, like, oh, okay, instead of, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, definitely. No, because this is what I meant, downsizing in the amount of people, because I feel like that conversation
Mhm.
would have been a lot resourceful, a lot more interesting on a one-on-one, you and her, and literally seeing it as a tennis game. Her giving her perspective, you counter your counterpart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead, because even Tanya was, Tanya was there.
Tanya
They
was
were
there.
there. She became super silent,
Of course.
and then from there, she was afraid to.
No, I don't. I talked to her afterwards to make sure, like, like, I'm like, how was your experience or whatever. Like, because at first, that's why one of the reasons why I was like, okay, did it throw her off? Did it make she seem like scared or anything? But no, because she
listens to
interacted
the pod.
afterwards.
She listens to the pod. She knows the
Exactly.
dynamic. She knows how it goes.
Yeah.
But her seeing it live compared to when you watch it on TV.
Yeah, some people don't know how to react or how to act on it.
Exactly. And
Do you think I crossed the line, or?
no,
Okay.
guys, we've been doing this for 5 years.
I know. I'm just asking because
Like,
sometimes
we had our moments. We had so many times.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I realized is I got better. So I got to thank you all for that.
Yeah, I think we all did.
I'm less reactive than before.
Yeah, definitely.
And yes, I like to poke.
Yeah, but that's controlled.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what you're doing. at
very
that point.
controlled.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that whole situation. I was like, if this would have been like maybe 3-4 years ago,
Yeah.
I would have embarked in the chaos.
And it's funny because it's true. It's true. I'm laughing because I'm more of a protector of Sedalia, right?
That is
So
a fact.
I also at the same time have evolved too, because I can't always protect, and that goes back to that line of thought. Like, if I don't agree, or if I think, maybe you should expand on what you're saying. Like, if you're saying something, stand on it, right? And but explain. Like, let's not just, I had to kind of put aside that protector mentality that I had for her, and be like, no, let's talk real now. You know what I mean? So let's have that. It's a real conversation. It's a
but
real
you're very
moment.
protective, you in general, on the pod.
I am. I try.
You're
to be.
very well. It's usually women because I don't see you protecting a guy.
But I don't protect guys, but I do try to still at the same time when I hear like something not.
No,
being-
because you protected Kiki, you protected Sedalia, of course, you protected Tracy,
Yeah,
and like everybody comes up is like, Jay's that guy that's trying to,
I try.
and that's a good dynamic because I'm the type of guy that's gonna ask you a question,
Hey, you don't give a
and,
fuck,
and you keep on saying it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap.
and nobody listens.
Yeah, I know. And Guy is more of a direct. He'll slap you and say, "So how did that feel?"
Or he says, "No, I don't mean you're stupid."
Exactly. So Guy's more of a raw, direct version. And the thing is, you change depending on who's here because
Absolutely.
if me and Guy are here, you automatically like, oh, poor fourth person.
It's a boys' club.
Exactly. And then depending, sometimes you and Sedalia versus me.
Yes,
and that's okay.
absolutely.
And I don't mind that at all, as long as it's genuine and the purpose is to poke. Because, we've known each other for so long now.
Yeah.
And people have changed. I've changed, you've changed, Sedalia has changed.
Yeah.
Guy keeps on evolving
I
so
know, right?
fast and rapidly.
This
It's
guy's
impressive.
like Jin Woo from Solo Leveling. He has no limits now. It just keeps
and
happening.
people are loving him.
Yeah, you have
Loving
to.
him for it.
You have to.
And it's crazy because, he was shocking at the beginning and now they're like, oh, I
Yeah,
understand. his
before it was
process.
like, whoa. Whoa.
Exactly. But I just learned that if there is an issue with X and Y,
Yeah. Kind of stay out of it in a sense.
let the storm brew. I'm
Like,
just bringing out my umbrella and see
Yeah.
how it
As
goes.
long as nobody's becoming like personal or attacking each other. Like,
But that's the
from that
difference
level.
between me and you, for
Yeah.
example. Like if you and somebody goes, I just let it be.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to protect the other person.
I know.
I'm just going to let it be because I'm like, if it's your conviction, if it's your truth, you should be able to defend it.
Absolutely.
As long as there's no disrespect, and that will never happen.
Absolutely.
Right? And there's no shouting like over the top or insults. I have no problem. Now, if they choke because, I'm losing my words or this, but that's on you.
Yeah.
Go home, go in front of the mirror, train, and come back. Simply put.
Do 1,000 push-ups a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, there's other people where like you come and protect. Right?
do.
When you see when they're getting like stuck in a corner,
Yeah.
you try and like, hey, dun, 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 dun.
No, I think what I like to do, it's not to save. I like to try and understand where they're coming from, right? And be like, okay, I'm hearing what you're trying to say. Let me see if I can,
So you think I don't know what they're trying to say if I'm putting them in the corner?
No, there's a difference. There's a
Why?
difference. I know you know.
No, I know, but I want to know.
I'm showing them the way to say it to you, or to explain it, like how to properly like voice yourself. Because in the real world too, when you go out there,
You're not always going to be there in the real.
no, but if I can show you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How to take that approach, because not everyone's gonna be, because you're a critical thinker.
hmm
It's not. I'm a critical thinker as well. It's not. And it's not to sound like, we're boasting or whatever, but you don't have that a lot. You don't have people that challenge thought processes a lot. It goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the pod. A lot of people are coddled. A lot of people have people who just like, yay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're alone with their phones.
They're alone with their phones.
And they think they come on a pod and a pod is easy.
yeah, of course.
A lot of people believe they just come on a pod and they're going to sound smart, act interesting, and become super popular.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then the sad reality is, and the thing is, I keep on telling people, I'm not going to pick the subject. I'm not going to pick the weapon that's going to, and again, I'm not here to destroy people.
You choose your sword.
Exactly. Especially, I realized lately, there's been a couple of guests that came here
Okay.
to challenge. They didn't come here to have a conversation. So if I think about Emerson or Steven, these guys just came to talk about what they were passionate about.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that was that.
And you could tell, you could tell the flow. Yeah.
Exactly. Some people come here and they're like, I'm going to outshine people
Oh shit.
on their own shit.
Was I on some of those?
One or two.
Oh, okay.
One or two. But sadly, they never picked up. And what happens is they feel insecure after that. And how many people, let's just have fun with this. In the last 5 years,
Yeah.
how many people did you hear that came on this pod saying that they're going to start their own podcast?
A lot.
How many did? Not many.
Not many. I was gonna
And
say
how many are
two.
still functioning now?
Well, none.
None. That's my
None.
point.
Yeah.
And again, it's not to talk shit about them, but this is work. Consistency is work.
Consistency is work.
And the thing is, luckily for us, we're not even thinking about numbers.
At all.
Imagine people that are trying to make money out of this.
I know.
The stress.
The only
the
time I have people
struggle.
come up to me, you guys could really monetize this. Yeah, we don't want to. That plain and simple.
No, but if I monetize it, then what?
Yeah.
Then what? Oh, I make less money, and then it becomes an issue. I make more money, I want more. And then it creates this sinful, vicious circle now.
Nice choice of words there, bud.
No, but it is. And then you have co-hosts. Okay, you divide what? Everybody equally? You've been here for 5 years.
Yeah.
They've been here for 3 months. This has been here for 3 years. What do you do now?
Yeah.
More percentages, and then they leave. Oh, they're absent.
What happened?
I'm going to start doing calculations. I'm going to become an accountant too. No. So I'm like,
But that's
no.
not why we do it. That's the thing. At the end of the day, that's not why we do it.
And again, you show up, good. You don't show up,
Good.
too bad. Like, I just hope you're good, and that's it. Some people disappeared and never showed up again.
Completely.
And again, I wish them nothing but the best.
Hey,
Some, I have an idea what's going on. Others completely vanished. And it's okay. Like I said, I did not expect.
a lot has happened over 5 years, huh?
A lot. We lost what? 1, 2. So the major co-hosts, let's Rosie's out,
Yeah.
Paula's out.
Yeah.
Those were the original four,
originals, yeah.
right? Then you remember on the other pod, I had Joanne and Cathy. That lasted 2 episodes. They were out.
Yeah.
And then Elias lasted about a year and a half.
About that, yeah.
Sahar lasted about a year and a half.
Yeah, roughly.
Haas the Boss was supposed to be a co-host. He lasted 2-3 episodes.
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Sabrina lasted 2 episodes.
I didn't even remember that one.
Yeah, she was supposed to be on Vice Versa. Way back
That's
when.
why. Okay.
Now we have Guy. Francis disappeared.
Yeah.
Hanny was always a
Well,
six
Hanny
man.
was a
Yeah,
six
always
man,
a
yeah.
6 man. Kiki's new.
True.
Yeah,
Dahlia's been consistent, so
Sedalia's been consistent. You and I.
yeah, exactly.
And again, it's okay. Like I was thinking, because I don't know if you're up to date with the beef on Breakfast Club right now.
Of course I am. I'm always up to date. I don't know. Breakfast Club is like a guilty pleasure. Like where I just watch the videos. Like
You
know,
still
'cause
enjoy it?
some interviews. I do. I'm actually really enjoying the pivot.
You are?
You ever watch the pivot?
No.
Yeah, I stayed away from it for a long time, but I'm enjoying that podcast a bit more than. But Breakfast Club, it's interviews. It's like some of them capture me, some of them not so much. But
I just feel it's
still
become-
OG.
Yeah, but it's too messy now.
I think it only became messy because of that whole just with the mess thing. I don't think usually it's that. I think they toned down a lot. Remember, Charlemagne used to be a fucking menace, bro.
But why? You know why?
Well, I
Because
mean,
now he has inspirations in politics and bullshit.
not just that, but yeah, obviously that, but also the fact of the matter, I think it happened when Dame Dash came in, and Dame Dash says, "You're not a boss, I'm a boss." Remember when he came in and he talked shit down there? From that moment, he had that's when he started writing the books, his Black Effect podcast network that he has. He has his own publishing company now. I think that moment kind of sparked, because like you said, like that aspiration for more and becoming like a boss. So with that, obviously he has to kind of tailor how his approach was. Remember, he used to like just have people on just to rip them, like to set them up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, he was an asshole.
Yes.
I never liked him personally. I'll be extremely
I
honest.
didn't have a problem with him, even with his assholeness.
No, because he
But-
comes up with all this Zen shit, but then he does.
But that
nonsense.
came after though. the
Yeah,
Zen
but
stuff.
he's still like trying to be a positive black man and
Yeah.
positivity.
Which I think he does what he does in his own way, right? Like in terms of, when he talks about therapy or talks about like, he tries to, I would say, like guide certain folk, like in terms of, mental health and stuff like that. I still do believe also at the same time, he's still a troublemaker in the back of, in the back of the
Yeah,
of
but
his head.
he's so the term, I hate that term, but he's pushing people down.
Like who?
So he did it with Lil Ma. Well,
But that's way back.
okay, fair enough.
That was before his.
So when
Quote,
when did he do his big resurgence of?
This is a couple of years only, man. Like I
So
would say,
Post Malone was before that too.
Post Malone was before that. That's
Fair.
when he used to. This is literally what I mean. Like any white rapper that came on,
Fair enough.
if you weren't Eminem, he was gonna trash you.
Gucci Man, with the whole disrespect to
Angela Yee,
Angela Yee, that
Yeah.
was before too.
that was before too. But
Okay.
but can I be honest? I think he was. My opinion is like, what was he gonna do to Gucci Man? You know what I mean? Like,
What do you mean? But he could have just put him on check.
But didn't he? I thought not in an aggressive way, but I do believe he did like kind of like, whoa.
He was
hey.
making fun of Angela Yee, saying, "Oh, you're sliding on people's DMs," knowing very well
Yeah, but I never like her though. I feel like she's
it's okay, but it's still his co-host. You still have to be loyal. To give you another example, this week.
Well, you never used to watch her. Like she always would throw comments at both him and Envy all the time. Like always, making comments like about they're gay and all these different stuff. Like you can
Yeah.
see, like she's always, and she's been doing it from way before.
So
know
what do
I
you
mean?
think about the last drama now?
With Jess?
Yeah, so Jess goes on the live, goes crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that was
Yeah,
the right
that was
move.
dumb, and that was just jealousy, women being jealous. And then
I do believe so.
Charlemagne making fun of her while she was on the Breakfast
I
Club.
think that's the problem.
And he
is
didn't care.
Some people, because I have a friend just like him,
Okay.
their coping mechanisms or the way that they deal with things is through, and especially uncomfortable situation, is through humor. Even when it's like, bro, this is not the time. You know what I mean? They just don't take anything like serious unless it's happening to them.
That's it.
But if it's happening to others, and I know it's like a weird defense mechanism that they have. That like when I saw Charlamagne, I was thinking exactly about boy. There's no situation like, bro, someone could be like, fuck it, yeah, I just lost this person or whatever. I just lost all my money. My wife left me, blah blah. The guy's gonna be making a joke out of it.
Yeah, you made fun of Tyrese for that, and he was his boy.
And that was his
Was
boy.
more- and
That's what I
mostly
mean. Like,
envious.
if you look at like that's his MO. Difficult, uncomfortable conversations. He's always making a joke. You see, Envy says it to him all the time. Like, yo, why you always gotta make a joke out of everything? It's just I don't think he knows how to process things properly, or chooses not to process things properly. Even though he does therapy and all, you know what I mean? He's still not there. Like I do agree. I'm like, yo, why is this guy still making jokes? The girl was like crying and all that shit,
Yeah.
Not even to say like I agreed with her, but at the end of the day, you could tell this affected her.
Because it's funny that Envy is the most mature one there.
He really is though, which
He
is
was
weird.
like, yo, we're your team. We're here for you. Communicate. Let's
Yeah.
do it off the mic. You don't need to go on the live because I
Yeah.
didn't get the whole live thing. And even, what's her name?
Well, remember the whole life thing. It goes back to what we were saying once again. You have your phone in your hands, you're speaking, and most of the people who are watching are your followers. They're your fans. All they're gonna do is cheer you on. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. Nobody's gonna say, "Hey, man, maybe you shouldn't be on here talking this shit. Maybe you should have had this conversation literally at work." You know what I mean?
Do you feel like
see
those
them every day.
people like each other?
I think they used to. I think Charlamagne and Envy do like each other. I think they're actually friends. You know what I
Because
mean?
I don't even think they chill
I don't-
outside the
maybe
Breakfast
they
Club.
don't chill, but I think they're actually cool with each other. I think the goal is to make they kind of look like they always go against each other, with the light skin, dark skin thing. But I think they're actually cool with each other. Otherwise, they probably would have like gone on to their own thing a long
So
time
much
ago.
money in there.
Yeah, but Charlamagne is making money. Envy makes money, but Charlamagne has his hands in so many different things. I don't think they need the Breakfast Club. Those two. I don't think they need it, But now I think Charlamagne and Jess actually did have because Charlamagne is the one who got her on there.
Yeah.
He was a big fan of hers.
Mhm.
I don't think they probably like each other now. I don't think you could see a little bit of tension.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange the dynamics of, as you know, co-hosts.
Well,
And,
you have your ups and downs, but I feel like it did happen multiple times where me and you,
yeah.
me and Sedalia and you had these little sparks, let's just say.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Now, as long as it doesn't come from a really bad place,
No.
like we're moody people,
We are. I like how
right?
you said that.
Some
yes.
people are more moody than others.
I think we got better though. I think for the I think you and I got better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you consider me as a moody person?
Yeah, of course. I used to tell you that.
Yeah, no.
Remember
I
when
know.
I see you? I'm like, like today, you're like, what's up? Like I say you are moody, but not like in a. It's more like okay, don't fuck with me and I won't fuck with you type moody. Some people are moody. Some people are moody and they'll take it out on you.
Yeah,
period.
that's it.
They'll come in and already it's gonna be a shitstorm.
Mhm, mhm.
But you're moody in the sense of like, all right, I'm good right now.
Mhm.
But if you poke, yeah, don't poke hard. So yeah, I would say I was moody, and I still have my moments, but I think I've evolved. But I was moody.
You're a
where,
lot less moody than before.
Yeah, no, I'm still moody, but
No,
how I carry
I said lot less moody.
it. No, I think how I carry it is differently now.
Again, maybe in the back you are being moody, but you whatever.
That's what I mean.
There was a period I remember where Sedalia would call me and we would talk,
yeah.
And she would be like, this is going to explode eventually. And I'm like, no, it won't. I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's probably something going on that has nothing to do with the pod.
No, I think sometimes it's just. Actually, I could say last week, I think one of the reasons why I was getting a bit like
Aggravated
was, like she was saying certain things, and when I was addressing it with her, she wouldn't address it back to me. You know what I mean?
Explain.
Like sometimes when I was talking, she was still talking to you.
Okay.
And ignoring what's being said, because she wants to ensure that her point was across, right? And I'm not, once again, I think, and that's probably one of the things that I'm still working on for myself is not being heard, right? Or not feeling like, okay, you know what? Allow me to, let's speak, let's talk. You know what I mean? But if you're not going to give me that moment to allow me to express myself, but you're still saying things and you're still talking about, I'm giving you direct answers towards what you're talking about, but you're choosing not to hear my words or like look the other way. Like those things kind of aggravate me a little bit.
They trigger you.
It triggers me a little bit.
So can I ask you a very transparent, because now I'm thinking about something, because I was trying to think about a situation where I can see where you got triggered, but it wasn't on the pod.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if you're going to remember this.
Okay.
Remember Aruba?
Yeah.
The conversation we had next to the pool?
Yeah.
You and I and Sarah was there too.
Yeah.
Remember? What triggered you that day? Because when you said
when
not
we were
being
talking
heard,
about the
we're talking
president
about,
and
Macron's wife,
Macron's
being
wife,
trans and whatever, and the whole thing. Because now what you just said just reminded me about that when you said you don't like to be not heard in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or it's probably understood.
Misunderstood.
You want to be understood.
Yeah. I do.
Okay.
And I used to like a big crux of my, I would say, issues that I had, like whether it's like relationships or whatever like that, was that piece of, hey man, I'm saying this, but you're not feeling me, bro. You're not hearing me. You know what I mean? Like, but that was more of a me thing, right? And I sort of gotten better, but I still have moments where.
So what triggered you? No, because what I found interesting about that day that really marked me, but it marked Sarah more than me.
Really?
Yeah, because you said something afterwards.
Okay, remind me.
I'll tell you.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'll tell you right after, because I'm trying to see. Because we were talking about the thing. Remember, I was watching the video. I think it was during the Candace Owen whole beginning when she was obsessed with. It was the journalist.
Yeah, it was the journalist we were talking about.
Yeah, the journalist from France that were doing the article saying that Macron's wife was transgender.
Yes.
Right? She took the identity of her brother, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Of her sister, meaning she was the brother taking the sister's identity. Anyway.
And I was like, how is that even possible if they have records of her being... And
Exactly.
it's funny, I still had that conversation with my barber like 2 weeks ago. He was telling me about the whole Macron's wife thing.
Yeah, because Candace Owen did a
She's
whole
not letting
series.
it go, apparently.
She went to 6 episodes, series of it. Anyway, besides the point, then we were talking about it, and then I was saying that I don't remember the big lines.
Me too. I'm trying to remember the big
remembered
lines.
where you just went up an octave, and then you just threw a jab.
Yeah.
For free. It came out of nowhere.
What was the jab?
Sarah looked at me because Sarah knows me in the days where I was really reactive.
Yeah, me too.
And then but she doesn't know you that way.
Okay.
Keep in mind. So she's here.
But she also seems like she's very she doesn't
good
like around confrontation. Yeah.
She literally went into a fetus position.
Yeah, I remember.
On the couch. And she was like, please make this stop. And it reminded me of that old song of Sam Smith, la 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 la. You remember when
Yes.
And the thing is, at that day, I was proud of myself first.
You were?
Because I didn't react at all.
I thought you did.
No, I said this conversation is over.
That to me is a reaction,
No, but that's just me saying I'm not going to give this more energy.
Yeah.
Because we were talking and you were explaining something.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel like we pretty much have the same triggers in a sense.
It might be true.
Where when we're not understood or we're bypassing what I'm trying to explain.
That's true.
I'm like, but okay, I get what you're saying, but can you? I'm not saying you're wrong, but this
just
is
take a moment and I get that.
I felt like we were doing the same thing to each other,
which is crazy because I could understand. I see now like that I'm outside of it the moment
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
you know, once you're outside of the moment, you see it. I could see it like from that standpoint.
And it was going back and forth, but we were very calm-esque. Like there was like, it was boiling. And then you just threw out of nowhere. I'm like, anyway, with you love listening to your own voice. And I found that out of character for you first.
It was.
And it was like a free mean jab, I guess.
It was mean.
And I was like, but what does this have to do with the conversation? Like if we're going to start insults,
Yeah.
this is not going to go anywhere.
But I thought it was part of the conversation because I felt like now I don't remember the full argument. I'm not
No, that was
lie.
that word when you say anyway with you
Yeah.
enjoy listening to your own voice.
Yeah. Because I felt like probably in the sense of like I wasn't getting my point across, like you said. And it's like, man, you could be fucking like, you know, like when you're, you know, like when you're on, you're
That is
on,
true.
you know?
That is definitely
Like
true.
you're on. And sometimes I felt like I was like, probably in that moment, I was like, I couldn't get past the defenses. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes
No. But the thing is, like, when you said that, I was like, this conversation just ended. Because I'm like, now we're going into insults.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this going to end? I'm going to insult you. You're going to insult
You're
me.
right.
And then
that
what's going
wasn't
to happen?
and that wasn't the right. Look, it wasn't the most mature way of handling.
No,
things.
fair enough.
No, I'm
But
tell
I
you.
was impressed with myself because usually once we go into that category, that sphere,
You're like, oh, let's go.
I'm like, now we're talking.
You're like, okay, you wanted to do this. Yeah,
That's what I'm
after that.
saying.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
was like, and what helped me that day was Sarah's reaction too.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not gonna like poor girl, she's gonna be traumatized.
yeah, she literally was. I felt the trauma in her.
She still spoke to
I
me
felt the
about
trauma.
it.
I felt the trauma in her.
And even though she's like, yo, you guys are still, I'm like, yeah. It was at the
Yeah.
moment we moved on.
Exactly.
But she's like, but you guys did not confront the situation. I'm like, but there's not really much to confront.
Yeah.
We're talking about the president's wife that I really don't give a flying fuck
I
about.
know.
And the fact that he threw a jab at me, ironically, and then we do a pod together, I was like, I guess it's a must that I like my voice. I don't know what to tell you now.
Well, it didn't come from the pod. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I was like, what was the right reaction to have? And like,
I don't think there would have been a wrong reaction. Because if you had thrown a jab back, you would be in your right of throwing a jab back.
yeah,
I'm just.
But it's gonna escalate even more.
or not,
I really
because it could have been. It could have been
You would have just said, okay, one each.
because I gave you one and I
Please.
got one. Actually, sometimes
I don't feel like you were in your logical sense at that moment.
Sometimes I'm like that though. Sometimes I'll be a smart mouth, and then someone will put me back in my. I'm like, oh shit, okay, you know.
Oh, maybe. But like
You know
I said,
me,
the
like
way
I
felt,
try to self check.
but I felt at that moment, like I said, like you literally said, trying to go through the defenses.
Oh yeah.
You throw a jab and then you get a jab and you're like, oh shit, I need to go for a Hellmaker. And I'm like,
no, bro. I'm only gonna go for a Hellmaker for someone I hate, bro. I'm not, you know. What I
No,
mean?
but I get
You're my
that.
bro. At the end of the day, brothers argue, they fight. You know what I mean?
100%.
They disagree. You know.
But that's
So,
why I was like, that's when I said this conversation just ended. And I got up and I'm like, it's sunny outside. I'm in the pool in fucking Aruba.
sun is
I ain't
shining.
gonna have, I'm not gonna have this type of energy.
It was a beautiful day.
And then I have Sarah, poor girl, like, and I'm like, we're gonna be cool. And then
Yeah.
you went to your room,
Yeah.
and then Sarah looks at me like with these big owl eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, everything's cool. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. This is okay. She's like, what is this comment? I'm like, no, but I'm like, it's a little bit out of character.
It's out of character.
I'm like, now, if he really believes it, maybe he had it in him and he had to spread it out. Cool. Now I know. But at the end of the day, we're on fucking vacation.
No.
I'm not going to go through the process. And I was like, and if he wants to bring it up again,
Yeah.
we will have that conversation. But this was what, a year ago?
Exactly. Did I ever say something like that again?
Nothing at all.
There
So I
you
was
go.
like, hey, it's water under the bridge. Me, I just found it funny because
Yeah.
when you said,
Because it's in that moment is how I felt. You know what I'm saying?
but are you like that with all the people in your circle?
I think I'm like, look, I used to be known as the asshole. I'm not gonna lie. It's not something that I relished in.
Yeah.
But like I was known as that. I was, like I'm that person that sometimes, I would cross the line in certain things that I would say.
But you realize it after or while it's happening or not at all?
Oh, bro, sometimes in the exact moment that it's happening, I know it's
So
happening.
did you realize like this instinct here? I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
Do you remember your state of mind?
Yeah,
your-
I remember, look, I knew it was like a line. You know what I mean? I knew I was frustrated.
Okay, so you were.
Well, of course, bro.
Okay,
I wasn't just normal. If
No,
I'm
I knew you weren't
know,
normal,
You know
but-
me, normal debating is one.
But
I could
frustrated
debate.
is
Yeah, I could debate. I could disagree and still debate, and it'll be fine. But there was a frustration in that one. I can't remember totally,
Yeah.
where it came from at the time, but there was definitely a frustration in that one. You know what I mean? And sometimes like when you speak, it could sound like you're very
condescending. That is
or I wouldn't say condescending, but it's like, it's like I don't care. You know what I mean? But it's like, but we're having a discussion. You know what I mean? Like, how could you not care? That's me.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what
my
I'm saying?
nonchalant side.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I
And
do it
so-
out of love. It's my way of protecting myself.
No, I get it.
This has nothing to do with the person in front of me, actually.
And that's why I said what I said in terms of my reaction was solely based on me. You know what I mean? In terms of how I took it. How I chose to take it, or how I chose to not even take it, but how I chose to respond to it. Because I could have also gone the route of nonchalantness, not being nonchalant, or just like, keeping it at that very, totally base level in terms of, because at the end of the day, these are people that we don't give a fuck about. You know what I mean? Like, what do we care? So, but at that moment, it was just like, I took an insult I took it as an insult over not being able to be heard or like the view expressed. But that also comes along, there's I'm going to say immaturity, because I don't think I'm an immature person,
No.
but I did have a lack of maturity and foresight, you know what I mean, in that moment for me. Like I would outside my common, my common self, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not your typical
No.
typical self. But then, you can add so many factors. Maybe the guy didn't sleep well. Maybe he heard some bad news. Maybe he was stressed. Because at that moment, it felt over the top for something so irrelevant. Right?
And sometimes it happens like that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, and I'm not even talking for myself, because sometimes I see it happening in real time with other people. And then I'm the one who's like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stay quiet. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. So through my evolution, when it comes to these reactions, actions, and these type of situations, where I used to always stick till the end type of thing, where I would have a conversation and I would put my point across, or my opinion, or my perspective, regardless.
Put it out there.
Then I realized some people are not listening.
Ain't that the truth?
So the message, you can see it a million times in a million different examples.
It ain't gonna.
They're not
it's
listening.
gonna
It's
stick.
locked.
It's not
Closed for
gonna stick.
business.
Yeah.
So because of that, what happens is my opposite reaction to that is I'll say it. If I see it doesn't go, just let it go. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then people perceive it as arrogancy and nonchalantness,
Yes,
meaning that you do
yes.
not care about them. But I'm like, people, pick your battles.
Ain't that the truth?
Like if I'm like, okay, you're probably right. Yeah. You're just saying you think I'm an idiot. Wait, what? I'm just saying this
why?
is not worth.
Because I think people know your layered way of thinking and approach, and they know that you will most likely have like a rebuttal or a different thought process towards certain things. So for you to just simply just say,
Pick my battles.
okay, yeah, but people weren't used to that or not used to that.
But if I
So
do
when
the
it's-
rebuttal, then I like to hear my voice.
You're a jerk, bro.
I like to hear my
You're a
voice.
jerk. Don't be a jerk, bro.
So don't be a jerk. Don't be nonchalant.
No, but it is be all those things. This is what I'm trying to say right now,
How?
because this is what I realize.
Uh-huh.
This is this is why it goes back, circling back to how I interacted with C. I don't think I was being a jerk, but I do believe that I chose not to hold back. I chose not to be nonchalant, right? Because that version of me, I think, was required. I think there are versions of us that are required for specific moments, as long as we don't cross the line or cross a specific
I don't
line.
believe you crossed the line at all with Sedalia.
No, but what I'm
I
saying
just
is-
felt that you had more inspirations and more energy that day.
I was inspired.
Yeah,
I was
that
inspired.
day to literally, you had a lot of energy
I did.
behind whatever you were
There
expressing.
was a few factors to it, but the main factor though, above all, is that I don't want. It's always wanting the best for the person, like, or for Sedalia. Not everybody. I don't care about everyone,
Mhm.
but like I want to, like, okay, we're friends, you and I. Same thing for me and you. If I'm like, sometimes if you see me express myself in a way that might be outside of my character, sometimes it's like, okay, maybe I'm pushing hard because I actually give a shit about, I give a shit about you, I give a shit about her. Other people, I could just be like,
Yeah.
let it go. Like there's some people that let shit go, like on the part itself, some stuff that was said,
true.
and I'll just be like, all right. But usually, if it came from you, you've even called it out. You're like, Jay, I would never get away with saying something like that.
No, for sure. For sure.
So like, if I give a shit about you, and I want you to actually give a shit about the discussion, what we're talking about, and the conversation, yeah, I might get a little bit out of pocket, but I'm working on myself.
No, that's the thing. We're so similar yet very different when it comes to these things.
Yeah,
so you see that type of energy, I would do it with somebody I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
What do I gotta lose?
Seek and destroy at this point.
What I gotta lose?
I'm like, you provoked. When I'm with people that I care, the trick is it's very, it could be perceived. And again, I know you. So I know where you're coming from. So there's a difference when I'm doing it to people and when people are doing it, period.
True.
Right? Sedalia sometimes is very feisty.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes she does not listen.
Yeah.
She will come with her point. You can tell her something. She's going to say exactly what you said and act like it was her idea. We've had this a couple of times. And I love her to
pointed it
death.
out live.
Yeah, and I
pointed
love
it
her
out
to
live.
death. But I'm like, Sedalia, when you're in this vibe, like I'm going to say something, you're going to say it again and act like all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
like those comedies, right? When that guy says like, oh, we should do this. And the guy's like, yo, I have an amazing idea. Shut
should do
up.
it.
When it repeats exactly the same thing.
Great idea, man.
Exactly. And so I adapt
But
depending.
you see, when she does that, I literally say it. I'm like, that's what he was saying. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But because the way she listens, the way she perceives information is very different from you and
Absolutely.
I. And
she explains stuff a lot better than us. And I think that's why I was getting a bit frustrated too, because I don't think she was explaining it at all properly.
I think she was expressing it properly
You think so?
for her. And this is what I mean by this. And I don't want her to take this disrespectfully,
No,
but
we
she's
don't-
very vanilla in general. Right? No, but let's be honest. She's very classy.
Well, she'll say it. She'll say it herself.
Yeah.
She'll say it herself.
So for her, all this other is delinquency. Literally delinquency.
All right, girl, you surround yourself with delinquents. then.
Exactly. So I feel like she took the criminal side, the kinky side. She's like, it's like when church talks about these things.
Yes.
That's what I believe she was trying to communicate. She was really communicating. I'm not saying like the church. in her case,
No.
But she was like, when the church says, "Oh, all that is the devil's work," all right? I'm listening.
Meanwhile, they're doing it behind closed doors.
Exactly. Well, probably. Maybe she has a kinky side. Nobody knows.
I mean her. I meant the church, but yeah.
I'm just putting it out there.
I mean,
we never know. And that's why. And I know you, because you're very curious in these matters.
Yeah.
And like, hey, don't jump to conclusions. There could be a
Just
lot
don't call
of.
people criminals for that. That's
No,
all I'm
but
saying.
that was just crazy.
Because for me, it's like we're talking about you're becoming like becomes like an authoritarian, type of regime state that you are. A piece of mind, you like, wait, hold on, you have orgasms and you enjoy them. That's literally how I felt. Like you criminal, you delinquents. Like what?
And if you paid attention on that pod at the beginning, you realize that Sedalia is finding her way more and more towards God. If you noticed. And again, it could be an influence or just a natural evolution because of her boyfriend and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that's okay with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why she decided. That's why when I was listening to her, she sounded like one of those religious people that are like, I love my Lord and I make love and that's it type of thing. And again,
I'm gonna have to ask her this one then.
exactly.
Like, directly,
That's how
yeah.
I perceived it.
Yeah.
And that's why she just
I didn't look at it from that view.
yeah. So even when I went through the pod,
I looked at it from a judgmental view, like she was being judgmental.
yeah, but religious
like,
people judge
huh?
other.
Yeah, I know, but also Sedalia. Like we all know this. Like religious or not,
But people
Sedalia
change.
has standards. And
Yeah.
You know?
No, she definitely has her standards.
Yep.
And she wears them.
Yeah, we don't have to guess. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We don't have to guess.
And I feel like her communication, maybe she was just like, it's this and the rest.
This and nothing else.
That's it. And it triggered you because you're like, wait. There's so many more categories. Stop putting
For real.
everything together.
Yeah.
And that's where the whole reactive part came about.
Push and pull.
And I'm like, this is interesting because communication, regardless of how you do it,
Yeah.
people not willing to listen because maybe she felt triggered.
It's possible.
Like I
know she was triggered at some point because she didn't want to speak anymore.
Yeah, but she was triggered by your she
Yes.
stopped talking because the way your energy, and she didn't want to equalize that energy at one point. And I felt like she was maybe worried of she was going to say something that was going to go even crazier type of thing.
Which I can't see her saying anything that would be too crazy.
No, not
but-
crazy to react to you, but
Yeah,
meaning
yeah.
that like, fuck this shit. Everybody that likes this
Oh,
should burn in
I
hell.
see what you're saying. I see
type
what you're
of
saying.
thing.
Okay.
That's what I believe. And
Okay.
again, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I spoke to her afterwards and she was like very quick to brush it off and like,
Yeah.
I'm good. No, it's just on the pod and this and that.
Yeah.
It was cool and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I contemplated having a conversation with her about it, but then even me, I kind of like brushed it off. I'm like, oh, it was on the pod, where it was in that moment. I don't think it was like for me. I didn't think too much of it because especially since like even during the week, her and I have been like sending memes and stuff like that back to each other, laughing and stuff like that. So like I didn't think too much,
No, I didn't
but-
talk to her for that. We
Yeah.
spoke and then I was like, so how did you like the last pod?
you and your how did you like the line? You always do that line.
No, because the reason why I ask this question, and I ask Guy often, especially when we have guests and everything,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm bored. On the
Sometimes
pod.
you're what?
I'm bored on the pod.
On the pod,
on the pod.
I see it sometimes.
And I'm like, maybe it's just me.
Okay.
That's why I have to ask my co-hosts, people that have been in, like, I don't care about the guests in the sense if they found it boring or not. That's on them.
That's on you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Make
but,
yourself,
like, I'm like-
make yourself useful. Fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I bring you here and then I have to drag the whole conversation.
The
What's
whole
point?
thing, bro?
It makes no sense.
We got to pull it out of you, man.
But
Shit.
sometimes I'm like, maybe they enjoyed it. I didn't. Maybe it's me the problem. Because
Yeah, because there are times I've enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than you did.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like, there was sometimes I asked you, so how do you like, I really like this one.
Yeah. Really? Yeah, I know.
Really? And then I'm like, maybe because I'm saturated. I'm doing so many pods.
Which is what I said.
Exactly. Just to, to close everything
yeah.
back at the end.
It always comes back.
So that's why I'm always questioning myself. Is it my energy levels because I'm coaching and this and I'm doing back to back?
Could be.
Or like, 5 years in the running, over 400 episodes. Is it like the motivation missing or the drive of? Because my original drive, in all honesty with you, when we started was how far can I take this?
yeah, remember,
Right?
you
It
said
was
that.
it was the excitement, right? What's next? How are we going to do this? What's the next level? This, and that. The conversations were always fresh and new and interesting.
Very true.
Now, once you've done it, right? Because I was thinking about like the likes of Joe Rogan that's at 1,000, 2,000 something and stuff like that. And other podcasts, like other podcasts are around, like the big ones are around 500. And then there's Joe,
Episodes?
yeah.
What's
So
Joe Rogan at again?
Joe Rogan is about the 2,000.
Damn.
Yeah. He's been doing this for a little bit over 12 years. So that's a lot of episodes.
It is.
So, and then the rest, because if I look at it now, Modern Wisdom is at
What's Modern Wisdom?
this guy. The bald guy, UK. He's at 900 episodes. Then there's the Diary of a CEO.
Okay, yeah.
Diary of a CEO. Where is
That's
he?
the mixed guy, right? The mixed kid?
Yeah, the light skin from
Yeah.
UK too. He's at episode 205.
Oh, shit. He's fairly new.
But I think he cleaned up a bit.
What do you mean?
He cleaned up some episodes.
Oh, okay.
That's why. And then if I go to Joe Rogan, he's at 2,208. No, wait.
Yeah, at
sorry.
some point, Joey was popping them out, though.
2,294. Shit. And I was thinking about this 900, the other guy, this one 2,000. These are the major ones, right? Then you got the Trevor Noahs, you got the other ones. There's
You got a milestone that you're aiming for right now, then?
no, not really. But I was just wondering. So both of them, what they have in common, it's one host with a guest,
Okay.
right? Like the last Joe Rogan one that I watched was the with Magnus, the chess player.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm big on chess lately.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've been eating chess a lot lately, and I was like, oh, I'm intrigued by it. On Modern Wisdom, I was watching the drunken critic there. What's his name?
Drunken critic? No, I don't know.
What's his name? He's this movie critic. He's called Drunken something. He's always
Oh.
complaining and everything.
Yeah,
He
no, I
was
don't
on
know.
there talking about the movie thing. I watched that episode, and Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going and I was like, their podcast is fully based on their guest.
Yeah. Which
It has nothing to do with the co-host.
But which is what we were in the beginning. This is what I'm saying.
Well, we did mostly pods, us three or us
Yeah.
two.
But when we had a guest, it
Yeah.
was we
Solely about them.
had a lot of the focus was on the guest a
Yeah.
lot, as opposed to like as of late when we have guests, sometimes it's a little bit still all over the place talking about.
And that's my
Yeah.
was my idea, not to make it about the guest,
Yeah.
but to have opinions added from the guest to different perspectives.
Yeah. But sometimes some people ain't got a perspective.
That's again, you live and you learn.
You know?
But I was like, how do these
yeah.
guys continue going on without being redundant? But then I realized it will be eternally non-redundant for them because it has nothing to do with the co-host.
No, at all.
Joe Rogan is known for his guests.
And what do you know about Joe Rogan, really? Outside of he's a comedian, does MMA, and likes drugs.
Yeah, that's pretty much
You
it.
don't know anything else about Joe Rogan.
He's a big party guy. He's married with a couple of kids, and that's about it. And then he goes at it. What makes his podcast interesting is he gives platforms to anybody.
This is true, which is what we basically, that
Exactly.
we were founded on.
And then all the other, even the UK like a Diary of a CEO, like a podcast of an hour and a half, the host, you see him maybe 20%.
That's true.
He'll ask a question and just
And
lay
lay
back.
back and let them cook, and they go.
And he just lets them talk.
It's true.
And I was like, that's completely not us. And maybe that's why I'm feeling now that there's a lot of, we're bringing the conversation.
We are though, because a lot of times we're bringing the subject, right, and we're thinking, okay, maybe this person could carry that subject, but they can't. In some cases, no offense to anybody, but just like
And then we have guests that sometimes bring us places where we did not expect.
That's true.
And then automatically we have to question
Where the
wherever
hell-
we're
how
at.
do we get here? Yeah,
Exactly. So I was like, for the future, I need to find a way
yeah.
to funnel this whole. I don't mind the over conversation, except, in all honesty, when I was editing Multiverse that we did this weekend, it was a headache.
I know it was a headache. I was there.
We were talking way too much over each other.
I was there. I remember.
And I was trying to find clips, and you don't understand. Usually, I would cut a clip of 2 minutes, and then I will cut it in pieces to make it a minute and a half.
Yeah.
The 4 clips that I found,
George was
10-minute long, and I had to cut it down to a minute and a half because the beginning of the question started here, and then the end of the answer was there. So I had to cut here and there, and then there was like side, and I was like, we really have to work on. Yes, we can be very into the conversation,
yes.
but it's just he says something, I react, you react to what I reacted, and he's still talking about the original conversation and going on his monologue.
10 minutes later.
Going on his monologue.
This is a fact.
And I was like, whoa. And then, like, even see, for example, being aggravated on the pod, Guan was aggravated because he felt like he was getting cut off constantly.
But he expressed it, not just that, although he got cut off, but he felt like, I remember he was saying that you had already kind of given an answer at the beginning.
And he wasn't listening.
Yeah, but what he failed to understand was like that answer that you gave was kind of between both of you, at the time.
But it shouldn't.
Huh? I know, because even at some point the conversation was me and him. Like it kind of like became like okay.
I feel like Multiverse. I'm gonna bring back the headphones
oh my god, the headphones! I totally forgot about the
because
headphones.
I feel like when you hear the voices,
I totally
then
forgot
you can
about the
hear who's
headphones.
talking. Because sometimes I would be talking to, let's just say, like you and George will be talking,
Yes,
and then Guan will do a joke with me. He does that a
Yes,
lot.
I know.
He's like, yo, him and his bleach or him and his this. And I'm like, but you don't realize on the audio clip and video,
Yep.
people are like, wait, what did he say? right? Because it's all happening at the same
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And we can't hear each other because we're talking live,
Yeah.
but in the headphones, it's very clear what you're saying on the mic.
Kid from Multiverse, I know this is completely going against what you were talking about. Can we get some guests on there? I have some people that want to come, but they want to talk about, like, you know, collecting. They want to talk about
So-
comics, stuff like that.
Fair enough. I give you carte blanche. Now, who are you going to bench?
That's the problem, right? Maybe I'll bench myself.
But that makes no sense.
I know. I'm just saying, you know.
That makes no sense. And again, I could put a fifth person. Not a problem.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be an issue.
Are we gonna behave?
You remember last time we brought a guest?
Yep.
So I can tell you the 2 times I brought a guest on Multiverse, Guan went on the attack.
Yeah. We just have to talk to him about
He's
it.
very territorial.
We just have to talk to him about it.
But
Guam,
again-
don't bite the guests.
But you see how there's different personalities in different pods. When it goes from
Yes.
George to Guan, you and I, and we're very different on Multiverse versus on the rest,
I think so.
by the way.
Yeah, because, you know, we got to be a little.
Because
geeky.
there's no controvery. It's just opinions on cartoons, movies.
But it's still a bit of controversy because you motherfuckers,
Yeah, but you're
you
not gonna
motherfuckers
offend
piss
anybody.
me off sometimes, man. Just-
Oh, you're going to love the clips. Well, I finished 1. I didn't finish the 3 others, but yes. This was fun.
yeah, I like it.
This was therapeutic.
I think so.
I don't know where we go from here, but I have a lot to think about.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever you want, whatever you decide, you know, I know we always just decide as a group and talk about things as a group, but like whichever decision that you want to go, like in terms of if you want to strip things down, if you want to switch up formats or whatever, I'm here, man.
Like,
I ain't going nowhere.
no, I know that part. And again, I would like to say I appreciate that for you because you've definitely been the only one here from day one. Consistency is a key.
That's it, you know?
But I honestly don't know exactly what's going to happen next. I know this summer break is going to do me some good.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm going to restudy what we're going with.
Okay.
And ideally, everybody's going to find. Because I feel like some people might be leaving the pod too. Well, and some people will be
talk
absent
about it
for a
after.
while. Yeah, we'll talk about it off camera. But anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
Regardless,
That's it.
worst case scenario, it's just going to be me and you, man.
That's the tagline. We'll see. Exactly.
And on that note.
Peace.